I just want to say the panel before me was just really amazing. Those are the kind of people that you need to get some expert advice from. So thank you for having me here. But I kind of want to switch it a little bit. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritional expert. But I'd like to ask anyone and all of you, how many of you have goals? Yeah, and I'm not talking about, oh, I'm not trying to eat sugar for a month, which that's hard, and I commend you if you do it. But I'm talking about big dreams and goals, the kind that when you say out loud, people look at you like, is she crazy? Or maybe they laugh, or maybe you don't say out loud because you know what that reaction is going to be. So when I was about 9 years old, almost 10, my father, I don't know if you know him, but two-time heavyweight boxing champion George Foreman, he set the whole family around at the kitchen table. And he walked in with this seriousness. We'd never had a family meeting before, and I don't think we've ever had a family meeting since. But he gathered us around and he told us, at the time, he told us that he was going to be the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Mind you, I'm 9 years old at that time. He was prior a champion, but we didn't know him with that life. He had stopped boxing by the time I was born. So we only knew this jolly guy who was going to church and eating and enjoying his very Southern fried life. So life was jolly in the house. But he came in the room and he told us that I'm going to be the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. I am going to remain a faithful husband. I am going to never embarrass any of you. And look around this room, because if one of you do something wrong, then you all going down. And at that moment, we didn't know what to do with that. We didn't have Google, so I'm like, what does boxing even mean? I don't even know what this means at this point. But, the seriousness didn't last that long, and our lives went back to normal for a little bit. But guess what? My dad, at this point now, he had been 10 years out of the ring, and he's about 80, 90 pounds heavier. So he's not the lean, mean man at this point. He's a big old happy man. So he comes back into the ring, and the newspapers and everyone said, this man is 38 years old. He's too old, he's too fat, he's too slow, and he's just a joke to the sport. Well, guess what? Dad made the joke pay him, because let me tell you, next thing you know, not only was he winning in the ring, but he was also at McDonald's doing the advertising. He was at Nike, like, look at me, Meineke or whatever. And eventually, we all know him for the lean, mean grilling machine. So he made something out of this. But that's not the story I'm here to tell. The story I want to say more is that as he's going through this path, he never lost his focus. Remember, he told us that he was going to be the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. So though endorsements may have been good, the accolades may have been good, the money was sure good, that wasn't what he set out to do. So as he kept going along, in 1991, he had the opportunity to fight what was billed as the Battle of the Ages, and he fought slimmer, nicer, leaner Evander Holyfield. And that was his moment. And guess what? It didn't happen. So he went toe-to-toe with this guy. He went round and round, but he didn't take the win. 42 years old, at this point, people are thinking like, hey, George, this was fun. You may want to hang those gloves up. That's it. But remember, he said, no, this is not it. This is not what I came into it. I came to be the champion. So he came back 3 years later, 1994. He got a fight with an even younger Michael Moore. And that day, in the words of Jim Lampley, it happened. The world, my world especially, stopped. And my father did exactly what he said he was going to do. So I'm standing here with all of us, and I'm just reminding you that I don't care who laughs at what you're trying to do. You can do it. Just do it. But if you think about that table, what was happening at that table, the first thing he said was, I'm going to be champion. That means not only did he have a goal, but he had a vision. He saw it. And he believed it. The next thing is, he said, I'm going to be a faithful husband. And that's pretty deep for some kids. We're like, okay, I mean, that's what probably you should do. But he was letting us know that there would be some discipline and nothing was going to stop him for doing, it wasn't going to break this team up that we had there. We had a team and he wasn't going to break that up or mess that up. Told us he wasn't going to embarrass us, all those things. And he made us have accountability for one another. It was like, you, George, and Georgetta, y'all mess up, we all going down, okay? So as I move on to life, I've been fortunate enough to, live vicariously through my father and share the story with him. But then we move into our own stories. And I've been a television producer for a bunch of court shows and shows like Let's Make a Deal, game shows, and had a great career. But if any of you are entrepreneurs or maybe you are in this entertainment business or freelancers, you know that sometimes you're up and sometimes it's up. What we doing, So in 2019, I was in Texas for a while with family. I have two daughters. I'm also a mother. One is 18, one is 8. When at the time, one of the daughters, my youngest, she needed some extra care. And if you're a mom in here, you know that at the end of the day, the team that you're accountable for, sorry, we're not losing that. This is always going to be taken care of. So sometimes we may miss what seems to be like opportunities, but that's first. So I was coming back to LA, didn't, had a job, didn't want to tell the people, wait, I need a little more extra time because I didn't want to lose it, So I came back and I'm getting on my hustle. Within that time, you're kind of not taking care of yourself, but you don't know that because you're taking care of the team, right? So you don't realize that, wait a minute, coach over here is, neglecting herself. So I had the opportunity to speak at TEDx. And months prior, I kept saying, you know what? Oh, I'm gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna get fit. Oh, I'm gonna be fine, ready. So the time comes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like it was still, I didn't even have time to figure anything out. I remember getting on the scale at some point and I was like, this thing is broken. Because I was like, there's no way, like, what? So I was able to find, I knew what I wanted to wear. I was able to find something that fit me, got my hair, makeup done, whatever. Thank goodness I thought the scale was broken. Well, after I did the speech, I got up on stage and instantly the pictures were coming to my phone and I thought, who's that? That's not me, like, and I was honestly, like, though it was a great event, honestly, I was devastated because it wasn't just, what do I look like? It was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? So I didn't want to share the TEDx talk. I didn't want to do any of that, but I had a friend who bullied me into sharing it. And so I shared it. And once I shared it, it was good for me because then I was able to just be okay and move on. Well, a little later, time passed, maybe a few months. And by this point, we're in the pandemic. A little time passed. And I got this email from this guy. And to this day, I really think he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in life. I went to college. I only know him on a, hey, really nice guy level. He inboxed me and he said, whoa. I just saw he had liked a picture of mine. And you know how Facebook is. There's a bunch of pictures on there. He had liked a picture. He said, whoa. How are you gonna just lose 25 pounds and don't tell anybody? You look amazing. He said, you know what? You can still dream, because he knew in college I wanted to be a news anchor. He said, it's not too late. You can still dream. You can be whatever you wanna be. And you know what? I looked and I was so offended because the picture was from 2014. I hadn't lost a pound. And I thought, he didn't even listen to the whole talk, And I was hurt. I was hurt until I realized that and he said, I wanted to TEDx light a spark in you. And he didn't know he didn't know what I was feeling at that. And it took me months to really think about that email. Well, time passed and I saw online, Will Smith was having this big Willie challenge. He was like, oh, you got 12 weeks? Let's get together, we're gonna do this. So I decided just to go on my Facebook page, and I was like, okay, guys, come on, y'all, let's get together, let's get fit. And everybody's like, I'm in, and everybody's posing their before pictures, saying this and this and what they're gonna do after. 12 weeks passed, and when I tell you nobody was with me, and I was like, but I was. I finished 34 pounds lighter that 12 weeks, after that 12 weeks. So then I said, then people were inboxing me like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna lose weight? And I'm like, I don't know. So I have a brother, he has a boxing gym, craft boxing. And I asked him, I said, brother, can you help us, give us some fitness, tips for people? And I'm gonna start a Facebook group. It's gonna be Georgetta Foreman, Get Fit, Get Fine. And he said, okay. And then, I was like, but they're asking me what to eat. I don't know what to tell people what to eat because like these ladies that were just here, everybody is different. He said, that's fine. I know I have some nutritionists. They're from Enriched, and they're going to help anybody. And we've had the best fun at Get Fit, Fit Fine. And to this day, I am now 50 pounds lighter. I'm on my way. Beyonce, watch out. Here I come. So, but with all of that said, the biggest thing is, and we're talking about wellness and health, someone outside just a minute ago asked me and said, how do we tell people how do we change the conversation for mothers like us to put ourselves first? And the conversation I said to her was, you put yourself first. You become the conversation. And that's what we're all gonna do. We're taking care of ourselves. And I just wanna leave you with one thing that my father taught me, and that's everybody likes a good comeback, so get up and fight for it.